Okay, you have to okay
Mhm.
it on your end.
Hitting OK on my end. There we go.
Excellent. Thank you
Learning
so
Zoom.
much, Casey. This is Casey Hart. She is here with us today. She is a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
She's a business owner of Foxwoods Collective, which is in Eldersburg, Maryland. And she wears many, many hats. By
I
the
do.
way, we're going to talk about that today. And I wanted to share this is actually one of my first interviews because my guides came along and dropped this idea in my head. And I rarely say no when my guides say, do this. And I don't, like I'm a healer, I'm an energy healer. So I felt called to interview you. And and it's interesting. I do Akashic readings. I'm going to talk a little bit
Yeah.
and then I'm going to put the floor up to
Yeah.
you. So I do Akashic readings. And normally, a lot of times it comes through some of the readings is that I reflect back to the sitter what I see in them.
Mm.
So it was interesting because I was reading some of the About Me page. You have a lot of amazing reviews on there. And the About Me page said that you mentioned that you provide a kind and caring, authentic, and gentle service. And it was like, that's exactly what I resonated with you when I met you. And you had tattooed the back of my arm. I will take my
Yeah.
sweatshirt off in a minute. I just have the heater on right now. So, and it was definitely no ordinary tattoo experience. So I wanted to read your About Me page because I really resonated
Oh.
with it, and it's very much exactly the experience that I had with you.
Oh,
And it says,
good.
if you are looking for someone who is kind, caring, authentic, gentle for your tattoo process, then look no further. From first tattoos to the 100th tattoo, I will be sure that you leave with one of a kind tattoo experience. I believe tattooing can create a healing transformation and a sacred space for past experiences, celebrations, trauma, and the roller coaster of emotions we experience on earth. I always intend when I work to go into our journey together with positive energy, healing intentions, and gratitude for the creation of art. I
Mm.
attempt to create a space that is safe, relaxing, comfortable, and welcoming as the tattoo leaves more than a mark on our body, mind, body, and spirit. That is a tall order, and
It
you
is.
perfectly. And for people that have gotten tattooed before, and for people that have never gotten a tattoo before, they might think, okay, this is sort of a typical experience. But I've gotten a tattoo before, and this is far from my experience at any other tattoo location. So, and that is what I love and connect with you is your integration. And that is what I'm hoping that we can talk about today and that you can
Yeah.
teach us. You make everything like you have so many different, you're pulling from so many different aspects of your life and you're putting them together seamlessly. And I have so many questions about this.
Yeah, oh my God, how
That is
cool.
probably why I
Yes.
feel very drawn to you.
Yeah.
So I wanted to open up the floor and start with anything you want to start. But, again, like I'm really hoping to get some wisdom here about integration. Like I'm very curious about that being an energy healer myself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Like, I'm gonna cry. Like, that's so cool. Like, especially that it does resonate so heavily with first time versus 100th time. Like, you're gonna get a consistency with me. So every time you sit with me, it'll be some differences, of course, but I really do start with gratitude with just about everything. So the fact that a person is coming to me, I feel means that spirit brought that person to me for a reason and
Hmm.
that I am meant to hold a space for them. And I always like to say that I'm not healing anybody, I'm facilitating your own healing. I'm just
Hmm.
here to hold the space with you that I feel people don't take a lot of time to do unless they're in this world and they're intentionally doing this work. I feel that a tattoo can really open up that kind of process for people because it is such a physical transformation, and then and that's what they're coming in recognizing, like, oh, I'm physically changing my body today.
Hmm.
But at least with me, I take it to such a sacred place
Hmm.
that they realize too that they don't leave the same person once they have shared a story with me or make these kinds of decisions together collaboratively and once they leave, they immediately want to turn around and have it happen again. So that's how I know I'm doing something right. I'm like, okay, cool. Like they want to do this again. I think with any kind of person that calls themselves a healer, I think a light worker, all these things. I think they get strung up on the fact that they are a lot of things. They are holding a lot of hats, and they feel they have to dive into one tool or direction and get kind of split. So that's essentially what happened to me as I've been tattooing 14, 15 years now. But about 5 years ago, I started my spiritual healing journey and got certified in Reiki, found sound bowl healing, and I started to do all these other things and doing it in my free time and on some friends. Then people were like kind of starting to spread me thin of, well, can you come to my house and do this? And can you add this? And I was like, maybe I should open a healing business. Oh my gosh, like, what do I do with this? Already tattooing to such a full-time degree. I have a shop now with people that work with me. So for a couple years there, I was feeling really pulled and like kind of torn and like, do I fall out of love with my first love? And how on earth do I even incorporate this in my life? Because I really have to. I feel called to do this. This feels so much bigger than just tattooing. So I called on a few very brave people, very brave clients. I said to them, like, how crazy would it be if we did a little bit of healing with your tattoo experience? Like I gave you a little bit of a Reiki session, or we pulled some tarot, or, what would happen if we had a sound bath before a tattoo? And a lot of people were super down for that. They're like, yes, 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 big full body, yes. I said, but I want to do something even crazier because I'm such a type A control freak. I ask a lot of questions. You can tell by my website that I like thoroughness. I like people to feel like they can do their research and get information that they need. I said, what if information didn't come from us? What if it came from source? And they're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, we're not going to know what we're tatting. They're like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, yeah, this is scary for me too, because I like to know a lot of information. I like to know what your intentions are, what imagery are you drawn to, placement size, budget, like all these factors. But what if I took that all away and trusted myself? And because people already trust me so well, they go, here's this idea and I trust you. And I'm like, well, what if we both trust something else? And see what happens.
Gosh, I'm getting goosebumps. Like, I'm like, okay, where do I sign up?
So that's the big brave thing that has been formed into the intuitive tattoo process now, where these people really do sit down and customize a healing experience, intuitive ceremony. I call it all kinds of different things, but mostly we slow down and we channel our bodies and we start speaking through memories, stories, experiences. And with my 10 plus years experience of tattooing, I at least know from people's body language, from the way they're speaking and the things that they're liking, their aesthetic, coming up with a subject matter, a theme, an idea that feels like them. And they go, wow, that really does, mark the transformation that I'm going through right now. I'm getting a lot of change in my demographic of clients. They tend to be women over 35, going through some sort of spiritual experience or big change in their life, post-divorce, post-babyhood. Their kids are moving out of the house. Tends to be kind of this major
raising my hand in all of these.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, these big shifts that they're going through and trying to claim this part of their spirituality because they feel very judged or unseen or unheard or feel crazy that they're starting to have these spiritual experiences in their life. So I think they sit with me and they, there's nothing that they can say that doesn't scare me. Basically, I am the courage coach. I'm fearless. And those experiences came from, unfortunately, very traumatic childhood, from a crazy story, So there isn't a feeling that they have or an experience they can have in their body that I haven't experienced 100 times over. So I know how to safely walk them through it. Because most of the time when we feel fear, we just don't want to feel the full feeling of it. We kind of back out. It takes about 90 seconds to really feel a feeling. And once we're at second 3, we back out. I open the space to feel every feeling that comes through as purpose, as intention, as a message, as something we're supposed to observe and feel. And they feel safe to do that in my space that I've created, which is nuts.
Yeah, I see the big trust. I
big
mean,
trust, and somehow imagery comes up every time something comes up, some sort of memory, a dream, experience, a story, and I can tie in some sort of artwork for them after this experience. So then they get to carry this piece of artwork with them into the world, and somebody says, "Wow, what's that on you?" And you go, "Whoa, whoa, oh God, where do I begin?" And then once they have this experience, they go, "This is the only way I can do this now. I can't just go get a tattoo in Tennessee with 10
yeah.
girls, like, and just get something off the wall. This is how I have to do this now." Um, that's the short little spiel on kind of how the intuitive tattoo process was born, from integrating lots of facets in my own life, kind of walking myself through them and combining all my hats into an experience that people can kind of
Yeah.
customize, almost a la carte, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I don't want that. And wherever step they are in their journey, they can feel called to add or subtract to their experience at any time.
Yeah, I saw that in your, okay, I want to read intuitive tattoo, but before I do that, because I have your description here of what it is, because I feel like we need to sort of, put it out there for sure. But I mean, are you aware of just how insanely different and amazing this idea is? It's almost like it's not just slightly different than what's being
Yeah,
out there. And like, I think that you have almost created like a new tattoo modality.
yeah,
Like it feels to me like it's not just slightly different, but it feels like it's like, like you have raised the bar for every time. I mean, you almost ruined it for every other tattoo artist out there.
woo, this is good and
Like
big.
I
Woo,
feel
sweaty,
like,
sweaty.
yeah, I feel like my legs are getting weird. But yeah, yeah, I feel like you've raised the bar so high. And I mean, it's almost like, why wouldn't you want to do that? And it's and like you said, it's like a 2 foot forward past the threshold kind of thing, getting a tattoo anyway, right?
Yeah,
So it's like the trust is almost like a transformational experience,
yep,
and then there's so much healing that happens with that holding space that you're doing. Like, a lot of times people don't want to come to someone and have them, oh, have you tried this, have you tried this? Sometimes the healing experience just comes from holding space,
yeah,
and having you have not have that shocked, oh, I'm so sorry, have you had therapy, like, the
right,
of canned responses to people's revelations that probably happen in the chair a lot, right?
yeah,
Not having those canned answers
yep,
really kind of resonates. But anyway, I want to read intuitive tattoo and what you have in your website of what it is for people, because it's kind of a flip of what it used to be, right?
yep,
So we start with your emotions, your experiences, your energy, the season of life you're in, and the body tells us how it would like to be represented. There's nothing more custom than something being created from you, translating right from your body through feeling images your brain created when we slow down and listen to the divine wisdom your intuition is speaking. What comes up is never coincidence. Every image for an intuitive tattoo has surprised every client that it had always existed within them. We just needed to listen together. We start with your emotions, your experiences, your energy, the season of life you're in, and the body tells us how it would like to be represented. Here's nothing more custom than something being created from you,
yep,
translating right from your body through feeling images your brain created when we slow down. So every image for an intuitive tattoo has surprised every client that it had always existed within them. Wow. We just needed to listen together, and love that. Listen together.
yeah,
And I really resonated with that, because energy healer, we're always working on trying to assist or support others, and just listen to your inner. And a lot of times that's something that needs support. They might
yeah.
not know how to do that. Life is going so fast, you don't know how to slow that down. So you have all these modalities. I was like, wait, I mean, you look pretty fairly young here, so I don't know how
I
you
know.
accumulated Reiki, breath work, integration massage, I saw on your website, yoga, sound healing, and as someone who also dabbles in, and I dabble, I don't know, it sounds like you've done these and you've studied these. So how do you choose? Like a lot of times I get that as an Akashic reader. Like sometimes people says you say, which modality do I go for next? So which one sort of called to, I mean, what is that process of being called to a specific modality?
Well, what I did was, for the tattoo process to make it simple was bundle them, so there's kind of this
Mhm.
small bundle that kind of gets you a little tapped in, and then this bigger bundle that's kind of all my magic. So it's like everything that I'm good at.
Mhm.
I'd say craniosacral was my gateway drug, like how I woke
Okay.
up basically. And then she told me, like, you need to go do some Reiki. I'm like, I don't know what a Reiki is. What's a Reiki?
Is a Reiki.
What is a Reiki? Um, Actually, Miriam, give me 2 seconds. Got to move the baby here. He's being
Okay,
a
that's
mess.
fine.
Yes, that was a funny time in my life. She said, you should go look into doing some Reiki. You're a healer. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
So I got a quick Reiki 1 and Reiki 2 certification about 5 years ago or so. That just woke me up even deeper. And someone gifted me a sound bowl because someone said, "Oh, I think you would like something like this." I'm like, "You're right. I totally would. I'm into all this spirituality." I've been
Mm.
practicing yoga for 15 years. I'd say it's a pretty big part of my life, but I'm not certified in anything for that one. Um, and then I started. Yeah, I think it just snowballs. Once you find one thing, it just keeps going and keeps going. You're like, oh my gosh! And I have so many cool spiritual clients that have their own tools and modalities. So there's someone that introduced me to tarot. Introduced me to. I have a client that does Akashic reading, so she did one for me. I have someone that does QHHT. She did a session for me. So it just kept going, and it just kept building up. And I kind of have I would say, like, that everyone's got their own medicine. There's some people that are just super into oils or super into crystals or super into plants, and
Mm.
the ones that seem to really get me, I think, has something to do with the somatic, something that gets into the body, that I like that my tools go with me no matter where I go,
Mm.
that I don't need all these other things. So I tend to go toward the breath work, toward the Reiki,
Mm.
um, things that kind of come with me wherever I am, any drop of the hat kind of moment. And it also teaches people that they already have the tools that they need to begin listening to their body, that they, don't need a course, they don't need a crystal, they don't need to open up with an ayahuasca ceremony. Like, some people start this journey and think they have to go into these places to succeed, check mark all these things. And I like
Mm.
kind of the ones that are already there, the ones that you're born with, that'll always go with you no matter where you are on this journey, as an anchor, so that they know that no matter how hard this does get, because once you are on a journey, you think it's all going to be easy and that you're with spirit now. And it's like, oh, actually, this gets harder. Shadow work gets harder. Inner child work, meditation is really strong tool for me too, that I
Mm.
use in part of my Reiki. That's actually what I would call my Reiki, really, is basically just meditating with you, walking you through your own body, doing
Mhm.
body scans. And I love studying emotion. I love studying trauma. I love studying the way things get stored into our memory or in our body, and how do we spend time with it. And kind of like you were speaking of earlier, people don't take this kind of time, or if they do, it's so short. It's like, maybe they do have an hour therapy session or an hour yoga session. With me, they're spending an average of 6 to
Mhm.
12, 18, 24 hours with me. That's a long time. So I need a lot of tools eventually,
Yeah.
you know. But mostly I just facilitate what feels good for them. And I think I have, like everyone does, have their own way of doing things. I'm not even that strong of a tarot card reader. You know, I'm not super certified in a lot of these, but it's all just from my own experiences
Mhm.
that have worked for me, that I go, okay, that was a life-changing meditation. That breath work technique really worked for me. So I'm going to try it with you and see how it works. And everything's been so experimental still, even
Yeah.
5 years into this, it's still very experimental.
Well, I do sense that you're very intuitive. Like just,
Very
I
intuitive.
mean, you have, and it seems like it's also getting stronger just from having. You seem like a researcher of people. Like you're
Yes.
noticing, okay, this worked, and so we're going to use that. So it's very, like you're saying, you don't have to be like a master in something. You kind of have to be a master of your own intuition. And in that way, I think I see that. And interesting, that it was really cool that you said that you started with someone saying, you know, you should do Reiki. And it goes back to what I was saying about how we are kind of a mirror for each other
Yep.
and how we need each other to grow and learn from about ourselves too. And as energy healers, or you had another word for it earlier. Light
Light
work.
workers,
Yeah.
yeah, all kinds,
So,
there's all kinds of
yeah.
words.
So as energy healer and light workers, like we are kind of, we are, we help each other that way. We notice what we see in each other. And I think that's really important. And maybe that's why I was called to also kind of mirror that back to you in this interview. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, like, is she aware of like just how, I just realized I'm unplugged. Give me a second.
Oh, no problem. I'm gonna move the baby.
I just don't want my computer to cut out. So it's kind of like we're here to reflect to each other the amazingness that we see in each other, and sometimes we might not notice that for the time, you know, and to
It's so
help
true.
us go to that other level, because I
Yep.
really feel like this, you've just started like something, you started something and now it's can't go back in the box.
No, no. Once you're aware and open and awake,
I think everyone's going to want to get
Yep.
some kind of intuitive tattoo in the future. I think that, yeah, there's the cat's not going back in the hat.
Well, even people have come to me who are not real intuitive. It actually, there was a good solid year there that brought me all type A control freaks.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I just trust you because you say you're a type A control freak and I see it in you, but you can let go to this degree.
Mm-hmm.
You can slow down. I want to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to trust myself because if they can trust themselves with something as permanent as a tattoo
Mm-hmm.
and as, you know, that's usually something you very much plan, very much research, put all your ideas into a place, and you kind of need a lot of time to research and validate and make a decision. They're like, that's exhausting. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to do that to myself anymore. They are starting to realize that they're on some sort of change, you know, emotional journey, but they don't realize totally that's spiritual yet. That they're like, you know, I see this in you and I love your work and, you know, I trust that you trust yourself. Yeah, is really what it is. And I go, oh, cool. So that means you can trust yourself. Like, let's give it a try. And I offered like a smaller version of what the big package is now. But so I called that package the Spark, which was like a mini session. So these people aren't like laying down for a whole hour, 3 hour healing. It's like a 15-minute breath work thing, you know, with a little bit of a tarot reading. And that is like their light bulb moment of I've never slowed down, like ever. I've never turned off my brain for a moment. And then the emotions start flowing. And like, even just as I was kind of testing, like, how fast can I get information? How fast can I get someone to slow down? And they would get like a smaller tattoo. So it didn't feel like this like huge commitment, this huge, you know, huge risk. They're like, okay, it's a little tattoo at the worst of it. But then they go, oh my gosh, like, that was really amazing. What's the big one? Give me the big one. Give me the big one.
Thank you for that example.
Yeah.
Wow. But it's interesting because as you were talking about control freaks, I am the biggest control freak you can imagine. Like, I did not want to know. I wanted to know my kids' genders. I have 2 kids. Before they were born, there's no way I'm going to be surprised. I'm a teacher, so I'm always in control.
Yep, I was a teacher too.
My family. So I'm always in control. So when I saw that, when you posted that initially about that as an option, I was like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But your posts, you know, come through and I started reading about it and I'm like, okay, all right. So yeah. So if you have someone like myself convinced, I was like, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Because
and the edge, it moves higher. It moves higher in the body. The edge feels like super low. No, not going to happen. Then it moves to the heart and you go, could I do this? Then it moves to the throat saying it out loud. Like, I might do that. Then it moves to the head. Like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. And there's something about that surrender.
Yeah, big time.
And as I said, it wouldn't be happening if there wasn't a trustworthy, trusting relationship, and there wasn't. Yes. Yeah, you're showing that level of support, and maybe, like I said, the holding space. The holding space is an amazing healing space that you're offering as well. So that really helps to, I mean, it's like, how can I not want to be in that healing space, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And also you've solved the problem that I always have as a practitioner. We navigate in a world where you notice people might need support in something, right? But
Right.
there's a best practice in healing where you're not going to go up to someone and say, hey, you know what would be really helpful? It would be helpful if you did some Reiki, right? Or it would be helpful if you got a QHHT reading and found out why, whatever. So interestingly, you have them when you have even them as a session, maybe not an intuitive session. I'm sure every session feels like an intuitive session, even if they're didn't
Yeah.
pay someone for it to be an intuitive session. But I'm saying when you have them in your chair, you do have the ability to kind of share that healing energy with them, and they want
Yes.
to come back, even if they didn't initially purchase the collective package.
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't a
Thank you.
question. I was just
Yeah. Thank you
reflecting
for
on
that. That's
something you're
cool.
saying. So, what is next? What do you feel like?
Woo.
I'm kind of excited to, or are you just in this moment basking in sort of seeing where this goes?
It's funny that you asked that. I just invested a lot of time and a lot of money in learning how to, because I was a teacher too. So I've been a teacher by nature. I've taught physical middle schoolers, how to art. And then through the tattoo industry, people have seen me as a teacher. I've taught some seminars. I've hosted some things at my studio before. And I've been called for the last 2 or 3 years to create something that people can come into my space without needing a tattoo or wanting a tattoo, because I've noticed there's some people that want to work with me but don't really want to get a tattoo. I have an entire clientele, a demographic of a demand from people that just want more of this kind of thing. They want more conversations with me.
Mhm.
They want more one-on-one time. They want, they want to know how I'm slowing down. They want to know how to listen to their intuition. They want to, now that I've been through this transformation as a mom, they're like, wait a minute, you can be both. You can be both and all, like, you can be a mom and a tattooer and a business owner
Yeah.
and a wife, and like, how do you do it all?
Mm.
So I've been creating something the last several weeks that's very infant still, but creating a program that is generally got, kind of guiding people through this journey of recognizing, kind of like a, I don't know if it's going to be like spiritual entrepreneurs or if it's mothers or like, who it is necessarily yet. But I'm trying to create a program that people spend a lot of time with me, maybe like a 12-week experience, where it's a group of us too, that is generally built around curse breaking and recognizing that a lot of people are addicts. My parents were drug addicts, so I spent my whole life going, I'm not an addict. I'm not going to be anything like my parents,
Mhm.
except I'm just like them. I just chose a different drug, which is work. And I
Mhm.
dive into work, and a lot of people dive into work,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
um, they become this less version of themselves. Um, you know, they're this kind of drained, checked out version of a human, but
Mhm.
they, are in providership, but then they're also mothers and they're also this and they're also that. And they feel so burnt out and they continuously burn out. They tend to be people pleasers. They tend to be overachieving, and they don't feel like they have a community or a space of people that understand that, that, are doing all of this thing. They feel really alone. They feel like everyone outside of that space from them judges or misinterprets, misunderstood, that they have this huge earth assignment to do all of these things, but without spreading themselves so thin. So I'm kind of creating a program right now. I'm working with a mentor that teaches people how to create these kind of programs that generally you would be, providing online, so that people from all over, that I got people from all over that want to work with me, and holding a space for people, I guess via Zoom, via the internet land,
Yeah.
um, and walking them through this kind of experience of essentially kind of building a generational wealth while breaking generational the curses here, because it's not that we're just raising kids and building a business. We're recognizing that we're carrying our own work and our own shadow work and not passing it down and just willy nilly going for it. Like the previous generations before us, they were just taught to work hard, but put your head down and work hard, and like,
Mm-hmm.
raising kids was kind of second, was kind of third, and we're the type of people that want to have it all first. Like, how do I make everything a priority?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they end up burning out. I am the queen
Yeah.
of burning out.
Yeah.
So people have watched me go through this process, and now that I've become a mom, people are really intrigued. They're like,
Hmm.
girl, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And how are you not losing your mind, um so and I think it's just people have been watching me go through another transformation, and they want more info for sure. And I see other women doing it too, and does tend to be mothers who are spiritual entrepreneurs, or people that are cycle breakers and building a business and trying to raise a family or think of their future family, and know that they don't want to pass this down, that they don't want to teach and instill this into their children either, that it's all about work, and addictions. Because I think our parents' generation was a little bit in the addictions part. These were 70s kids, these were people that grew up like partying. So I think they kind of numbed a lot of their emotions, and we're the first generation to be recognizing our emotions, recognizing our trauma, while we're building a business, while we're becoming parents, while we're holding this space, and while we're holding, doing all these hats and cleaning the house. They're like continuously burning out, and trying to build wealth. Like, everyone knows how hard it is right now to buy a house and to keep up with the grocery bills. Like, it's a lot that we're doing. And people are watching me do all of this, and they think I'm cool headed. They're like, she's not set the world on fire yet. So how is she doing this? So that's sort of where I'm building this space next. Let's see if I can even pull up
Wow.
what I've got going on here. I think I'd like to call this the first daughter.
Mm.
So it's building generational wealth
Wow.
while breaking generational curses. For the women who know that this didn't start with me, but it ends with me. Every bloodline has a woman who decides that suffering ends with her. The one who refuses to hand her children the crippling anxiety she inherited, the addiction she witnessed, the self-abandonment she learned, and the survival patterns that stole decades from the women before her. She understands that generational trauma is not something that happened to her. It just continues through her if it's left unnoticed. So this is the journey of becoming the bridge between what was, what will be, and what will never happen again. It's about becoming the woman your children never have to heal from, because it didn't start with you, but it ends with you. The first daughter isn't just building a business, she's changing the future of her entire bloodline.
I'm like tearing up here. Okay.
That's good. That's so
I'm
good.
so like moved by that. Oh my God.
That's my next move, I think, here.
Well, yeah,
So, I'm hoping that people, that this resonates, and I'm practicing with you right now, just even saying it out loud.
Well, yeah, check all the way.
Check. So I'm hoping after an experience with me, they'll have a regulated nervous system that's not inherited patterns anymore, that they can start to listen to their intuition and start to fully trust them in real time. I want them to create a new family system that involves everyone moving slower and more intentional, and then building a village that we can depend on, because I know that these people have generational trauma, that they feel like they're alone and they can't trust anybody, so creating that village, and then more time, more energy for the things that matter most, and learning to prioritize those things, because if you have more than 3 priorities, you have no priorities. So that's what I'm hoping to create, make happen in the next several months. Would be, the next 3 months or so would be really incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to say you've shared your life journey. Sort of like I feel like I've seen you growing through your tattooing, because I've been following you, and then I got on your, to get your tattoo, and then finally I got to have a time with you, to get tattooed. So it's been a while, and just seeing that process, but I really appreciate the openness. Sometimes when people share on social media with you, it's like you're sharing your journey with us, your sitters, but at the same time, you're sharing, you're sharing that journey. And then I noticed on your website, you have, as a mom, that picked, again, not separate lives, but you're being a mother now. And that has you in a very great way. The Instagram where you were giving advice to your 19-year-old self.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, man. Poor 19-year-old Casey. Oh, man.
Because it's interesting, because I have a 19-year-old. And so it's interesting, because you're always like, oh, what advice would you give? But you just said, when you say they, are you talking about sort of your guides, or, you say they will surprise you, they will support you,
I
love you
mean, even
very
physical
much?
people, like
Okay.
I felt so alone. I really did. I didn't feel like I had anyone. And the people that have showed up in my life, my apprentice, who's now like my business partner, my husband, my clients, my friends, this support of a village, even my own mother, who I kind of had a hard time trusting again to come back into my life.
Mm.
She has surprised me. She has come back, and especially wanting to be a grandmother. She's like, I really screwed you up, but I don't want to screw him up either. Like, so it's like if you give people the opportunity, if you give second chances, like they could surprise you. And it's not a promise, it's not a guarantee, but I believe you need to be open to it to heal for yourself. So you're not carrying it, because I have anger as a core emotion. I am an angry lady, which
Hmm.
surprises people now. They're like, really? Like, you seem so calm and cool and like go with the flow. That took so much work because I had a lot of resentment in my heart. I had a lot of judgment. I had a lot of like just
Hmm.
I thought I would never be able to trust anyone again. And ah, mm, 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 like it took a lot of work to be able to do that, because so that I didn't carry it around anymore. And then I gave such a safe space, a permission for people to be around me and be in shame and be in guilt and be in judgment and be in fear. And I just hold space for it. I don't expect some result, and I don't expect something to change. I just allow it to be. So they feel like they can be those things, even if, and then I do that too for myself. Like I allow myself to feel shame and guilt and fear. Like, you know, so, to little 19-year-old Casey, she was kind of out to prove the world wrong. She was very revengeful. It was about showing everyone that, you know, look how wrong you are about me, and I can do this all on my own, and I don't need anybody. And now I'm at this point on this side of it. I'm almost 34, and I'm like, I need so many people. I need my husband. I need my business partner. I need my baby. I need my friends. Like, I can rely on people and fully trust them, and I allow them to
Hmm.
do those things, because the people like this that resonate with this, the kind of people pleasing type A control freaks also tend to be perfectionists. And I was that way too. And like what I've kind of realized about like perfectionism, is like it just kind of comes from a place that you didn't feel safe or valued or loved. It was based on what you could carry. And proving that you can do it right. And now I just go, if I screw up, I screw up. Like, it's
It's
a
a
big
breath of
change.
fresh air. And actually you're providing that for people around you too. So we started with tattoo, and that it's like obviously like the tattooing is kind of like this flavor of this lifetime for you now, right? In
I've always said
reality,
that.
it's like I'm a QHHT practitioner as well.
I love that.
So clients come, and like one of their list of questions is like, what is my purpose in this life? So, oh, there he is.
There's my
There you
bubby.
are. Oh my
He's my
goodness.
bubby.
Oh my goodness, what a sweet. Oh, you're smiling. You
He's
are
always
smiling.
smiling.
Oh my
I
goodness.
love you.
Precious.
I can't with him. He's so
Puppy. I
cute.
love that little outfit too.
You had one of these at night, like now 19.
Yes.
You're
Oh
gonna
my
be
goodness.
19 one
I
day.
know.
Oh
He's so
my gosh.
cute.
So sorry
No,
to interrupt.
it happened so quickly. Oh, it's so cute. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Crazy,
I
crazy.
want to hold a baby now. A mat.
Yeah, right.
A baby now. Like a little corpulent little heavy thing. So what I was saying was like, what is the purpose? Like what, if you were to like it, so it's not just about tattooing, obviously. We've,
Yeah.
already covered that. But like what if you were to sort of coin like right now your purpose of your life? Like what?
Well, yeah, I think you're totally right. That tattooing was kind of like the tool, the vessel, and I've had that conversation with my angels, my guides before. You know, like why choose tattooing? And they said you could have chosen anything you wanted. That was just the way you wanted to do it. And I was like, cool, great, message received. And because it gives me an opportunity for people to sit in my chair for that long, like Um,
Hmm.
I would say like core mission though is to ignite courage. If I had to put two words to it, is if I could stop fear in its tracks and keep people on the path, no matter how uncomfortable it is, like to their purpose. Like my purpose is to show you yours,
Hmm.
um, and or to at least get the spark.
Yeah. Planting
That
seed.
yeah, planting that seed and trusting intuition because I think they go really hand in hand. I think fear and intuition are kind of cousins. Um, so if I could get everyone on board with feeling fear comfortably, living bravely, living authentic, and listening to their intuition so that it leads them to their purpose or excavates their purpose, really. It's not even something they have to go after, it's just already within them, and we just kind of have to, you know, dig a little deeper and peel that onion one little layer at a time.
Wow. I love that. That's so beautiful. Yeah, because I knew that it wasn't as we were talking, and just looking through your website and everything and your Instagram and what you've put out, it's a flavor, but could have been anything.
Could
Ah,
have been
little baby
anything.
sounds. Keep cooing, keep
Baby,
cooing.
little baby man, he's a mess.
So
He's a
cute.
mess.
Oh, God. Oh,
That's the airpod. It's
oh,
okay, Bubby. Hey, Bubby.
yeah.
We might just have to breastfeed right here. This is the real life, everybody.
This is real life, everyone. That's so cute. So you're coming to your 5th year anniversary
At the show.
of your shop on
That's
September
crazy.
12th, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what you're gonna do then. What you're imagining for that celebration. I noticed also you put out this beautiful video, by the way, the shop owner experience. I thought that was great.
Oh yeah, with the Painful
Um,
Pleasures
yeah, and it's interesting
shop
because
owner series.
as a teacher, I really resonated with you said you had an employee handbook and how you teach everything. Like, and it just reminds me of being a teacher and how you have to teach
Yes.
kids, teach art. Like, you don't assume they know how to use a scissor. You like teach them everything. So I really resonated with what you were saying there. So as far as like leadership, I have
Mhm.
been thinking a lot about this lately about leadership and when you're a shop owner, obviously, you are in the leadership position. And so, what advice do you have for someone who's starting their business or their any business? It doesn't have to be a healing business. That is something that I'm always thinking about. Like, how do you and what are some best practices? Using those words from education.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Especially from an education standpoint, it's easy to go like, okay, so you stand tall and you speak loud,
Yeah.
like confidently. But I think when it comes to um, anything with taking a risk and becoming a leader, recognize that there is no syllabus. There is no roadmap that says here's the next step and here's the next step and here's the next step. So trusting your intuition, I think, is like point number one. Point number one, learning to trust your intuition because you're gonna get so much advice. It's like being a mom. When you become a mom and you got pregnant and it's getting toward the end of that pregnancy and everyone starts asking a lot of questions about what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it, you're going to have so much advice. And there's been so many people previously from before you that succeeded in this, obviously. So you're going to be very quick to be like, well, let me ask my uncle who owns a business. Let me, go to this online school, and everyone's going to give you all this advice and you're going to be pulled in 100 different directions. But your way is the say, is the baseline. So learning to trust that you have the experiences, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom. You wouldn't be in this position if you didn't.
Mhm.
So, maybe have a mentor, maybe have somebody that has been in your shoes that you respect and that they're at a place that you would like to be one day. But then kind of exile the rest, take out the rest of the noise because you are going to get a lot of different advice from a lot of different people. And you'll feel like you can't land on a decision, and that's what people don't appreciate in a leader is lack of confidence. Like you want to be able to confidently make the next move and also teach your team that you are a human and that it may not work out, and here's what's going to happen if we have to pivot. Here's what's going to have to here's what's going to happen if we do make a change or if it didn't work, and setting everyone up to be resilient in change, instead of going like I just know all, I know best, and it's always going to work out. It doesn't always work out. Everything hasn't been done before the way you're about to create something. So it is going to fail. Like, recognize you are going to fail, but recognizing failure doesn't mean you stop or that you lost momentum. You're going to continue to make another choice and trial and error, and be okay with making mistakes. And that's going to be hard for our perfectionists and our people pleasers. That's going to be tough, but they are the people that tend to be leaders. So yeah, I'd definitely say, trusting your intuition. I did find mentorship really helpful. I have a couple of different mentors in different parts of different fields. That also push me. They're challenging me. They're making me question the reason why I do things. I think knowing your values is super important, because you can't value everything. You can't go, oh, it's money and success and it's loyalty and it's family. Like I said before, if you have more than 3 priorities, you have no priorities. So, I have values that I practice and that I implement in my business, and everyone agrees with those values or agrees to work with those values. They may have different ones on their own, but when it comes to business and personal, there's no separation. They are one. So whatever you're practicing as your values needs to be practiced in your business. So if I say I'm a woman of integrity and gratitude, that means in my business, I need to basically understand and practice that I don't lie, steal, or cheat. We customize everything, and we're honest with our clients. We communicate, and if it's gratitude, I make sure my clients really feel like they know that how grateful I am for them to be showing up that day and trusting me that day. And I try to give back, and I try to give. That's why I'm such a people pleaser to that point. Like, I'm going to give you an amazing experience. I'm going to give you a really, really, really amazing experience, because I am so grateful that you showed up today. And holding still to those values and kind of being the best practitioner of what you're preaching. So if I'm telling the guys they need to do X, Y, and Z, they've seen me do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And they're like, yeah, no problem, Case. Like, you're carrying so much. Which kind of leads to my, I would say, third point is extreme ownership. That you take on oh man, I screwed up. So sorry, guys. Here's how we're going to pivot. Here's how we're going to make a plan, instead of just blowing up, being emotional, and not being a good problem solver. And I teach that amongst all of the people in my space. That if I said I'm going to clean the bathroom today, and then I didn't, I'll be sure the next morning, like, oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry I didn't clean the bathroom. I'm going to go do that right now. Or can someone help me? Instead of like, I never said I was going to clean the bathroom. You said you were going to clean the bathroom. That creates such toxicity so quickly. That plague gets larger and bigger every time. So I would say that's kind of my third major point. There's a lot. I could talk about leadership forever.
No, I love it. And I think, again, in the education field, we could benefit from having those implemented in and I love the fact that you have an employee handbook. And
I do. It sounds crazy, but
no, I think that's fantastic, because you said, there was an example you gave about, like, if they're, if something goes wrong, like, pre-thinking ahead of time and having that in the handbook. And just, I'm assuming the handbook is like, also like a document that something happens and you're like, oh, we need to add it to the handbook.
It's a big binder. It's a binder that everyone has access to. And there's a tab that says emergency. And that's like, if the internet shut off, if a client passes out, like if we need to call an ambulance, poison control, everything under the sun. And that's like, if I'm not here either. So it really instills a lot of trust that my shop can run, whether I leave for a day, a month, a year. It can run, and that's full trust in my team. And that removes micromanaging, that removes insecurity, because a lot of people don't put trust in their team. Then why did you hire them? Why are they part of your team if you don't trust them? And I was, team sports kind of girl, so, you want to be able to trust even the lowest grade person, or the least experienced person could definitely run my shop, and if there came a problem, like, I'm not needed pretty much ever, like even through maternity leave, I thought at least I'd be getting a phone call every other day or something. Nope, it was radio silent. It kind of ran better without me because I'm not running around making a mess. um, so, you want to be able to trust your team. So, fourth point, only hire people that you would trust, only hire people that you would get services from. Whatever their magic is, you want to be able to say, oh, yeah, you're with the best. You're in good hands instead of like, yeah, no, I wouldn't get tattooed by her. Like, so making sure that your team is someone you would pay to go see.
Yeah, because you wrote, who you have working for you is your success.
Yeah.
And I love that because, and I hear a lot about it, what I'm hearing a lot is surrender. Like your
Big time.
surrender. And again, for someone who's like control freak, like you claim you were, or you are, you are
I'm
still
recovering.
yeah, control freak. But yeah, so it's like surrendering and trusting and setting yourself up for success because you're not going to hire someone that you can't feel like you could surrender the store to, or, for a day
Yeah,
of the week.
yeah. I'm so glad you say that because it's such a practice for me, and I really tested myself with the baby, just like you said. Type A. I wanted to know the gender. I wanted to know this, and this. I made sure to go as opposite as I could go. So I did not find out gender. I did not have a name picked out. I even did an all natural home birth. I went as far as it could basically go on surrender. And I had an incredible home birth experience, and I had a little boy, and it was so cool to have that surprise. And my friends that are very much like me, they're like, how on earth? I could never. I'm like, I am the queen of I could never. So as soon as I say that, as soon as I watch myself say I could never, I go, wait a second. There's my trigger. Hold on. How can I? And can I? What practice? Can I flip it?
That. Yeah, so that's your challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes your challenge. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. If I say, oh, I would never open a business, I would never have an apprentice, I would never get married, I would never have a baby, I would never get a chest tattoo. Like ding, 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 ding. And I was like, oh, every single one of these things I've ever said I'll never do.
Yeah.
I did. And how far can I go out of my comfort zone and push and push? And I think that's why people trust me is I've been through this process a lot. And if I am the queen of holding on and like tight, tight, drip, 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 how much can I practice surrender and just being in trust and faith and trusting my divine wisdom, trusting my body, trusting spirit? Like it goes outside of yourself. And I'm so glad that it reflects, it's going out there.
And it's interesting how we don't realize it, how much impact we have on people. And you don't have to be in, like, I don't need to be in your tattoo chair to get that, like, I mean, it was great that we met that way, but I think it's just even like your social media posts and things like that. I'm just sharing those snippets. Again, we're not here to become the ladder. We're here to just be a rung. So in reality, like you just putting that idea out there, about surrender or about putting 2 feet forward, just putting the little sprinkling some ideas, some seeds in people's brains, like that really helps. So like I very much appreciate like the posts and the sharing, and like you said, you're like an open book anyway, but a lot of times that's how I feel like we can help others by being an open book, because our experience is not unique at all. Like, once we open the door, we realize our experience is actually very similar to many people's experiences. We don't all think we're alone, like you were saying. So,
oh, that's so big. It's so good because, like, a lot of people get caught up in, I don't want to share because somebody has it worse than me, or, but I had it the worst more than anyone. And I try to really articulate that you can't measure an emotion. You can't say I was 20% more abandoned than you. I'm 50% more alone than you. My plate, I used to play this game. That's why I know it, that my plate is so much bigger than everyone else's. And I take on way more than the average person. And I would say, what's the average, and like, who am I to say my childhood was this, but which is better or worse than yours? Like, end of the day, erase it all. You can't measure this. You just felt abandoned. You just felt alone. You just felt shame. You just felt guilt and fear. And those emotions are real and they hit the body and they are meant to. That's why I'm so intrigued and in tune, and why I just study emotions, because they're there and they show up when they're supposed to, so that you can observe them and ask why. I don't believe emotions just go in and out, in and out, and that's it. They mean nothing. I really do believe that they are our body's wisdom, or spirits, or messages, or angels, or guides, or the sun, moon, stars, the planet, whatever it is,
Yeah.
is its way of communicating.
You pull it. You pull that string. That is the
Yeah,
clue. Is that what you're saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
kind of like a clue.
yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't mean everything means something so big, you know. You don't
Mhm.
want to like think every little thing is like life shifting moments, but I do believe that they are patterns, and that the body and the mind work together to show you a pattern, which
Mm.
is basically your reality. And when it becomes your story, that becomes your personal reality, your personality. So that's how you walk through the world, and that is then how people remember you. And I do believe that, you know, I recognize and know since I was a really young girl that you are going to die. Like, this ends. And I believe that your impact here and how people remember you is the work that matters the most. That's the legacy. That's how people are going to speak about you and continue to think about you, and why you won't ever die, which is why my third pillar in this program is called the immortal.
Mm.
You know, and
Wow.
basically, how do you want to be remembered? And we're all chasing this thing like we're never gonna die, kind of like the addict. That's the first part of my pillar, is like we are all chasing this high of life, and we're all trying to not die, trying to put it all in as fast as possible.
Mhm.
Um, and I think what really matters once you really dive through these pillars, is how are you going to be remembered? Um, and that at your funeral, it's like a few sentences, and on your tombstone it's a year between a year, and there's a dash. What did that dash mean?
Mm.
And then when you physically die, they know this now, that your brain is active for what they call 7 minutes. So they say, those 7 minutes, it replays everything that happened in your life, and what do you want those 7 minutes to be, and what is that going to look like? So I kind of deep dive into this work all the way down to it's life or death. Like, this matters that much. So how I work on myself, which is the work, carries into my personal reality. My personal reality is how people personally experience me. Their experience of me creates a story, a legacy, and whether or not I'm remembered or respected, or, how do I want that to, and then I became a mom, and I was like, oh my God, there's an actual physical being.
Yeah.
This is my masterpiece right here. Like, I create art all day. I've been creating art for 30 years. Like,
That's
what?
you're
This is the
talking
work
about
now.
legacy, and you're
Talking about
you have your
legacy.
hand. You're talking about legacy. You mentioned the word legacy, and you're
And he held
holding
my hand. My puppy.
like, oh my
He,
God.
he's so wise. I feel like he's
Yeah.
been here way longer than me, and he's got so much to teach me.
Well, they say we choose our parents, so
Yes, yes. He chose me. I'm so honored. I'm so honored. He was a little star seed up there flipping through the Rolodex of parents, and
like
he said, that's
yes.
one. That's the one.
Yeah. That Casey girl, absolutely.
And it's the same for me too. And it's the same for everyone they say, I hate my parents, I hate my childhood. I'm like, oh, my friend, you chose it. You chose it.
Yeah.
And they go, what? You sound crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I know
Yeah.
it does sound crazy, but we chose it. And I chose my mom. I chose my dad. So that, it felt like a disservice at the time, but it really was the service in which I now serve others, is that magic. That, and you have to alchemize it. You have to flip it.
Yeah.
You can't fall victim to it. That I would call fear. That I would call guilt, shame, resentment, all the gnarly ones, and anger the most. I am the queen of anger. I have this peace in my life because that anger existed. We love and grieve because that's the exchange.
Mm.
Like, so if I love something and I grieved it, and then I grieved it because I loved it, like, that's the energetic binary exchange we experience here on Earth. So I think it's your job. I think it's your job to ask why, and to take extreme ownership of the things that have happened to you, so that you can serve others. Like, it's actually a very selfless process.
I like that. Your job to ask why.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, I know we're coming to the hour, and if
Oh
you
my
had
God, no way.
a last message for your audience, one,
Message for my
I
audience.
know I listened to the Jeff Mara on
Oh, okay, yeah.
and he always has one at the end. He goes, "Would you like to give a last message?" And I'm like, that sounds really nice.
A last message. I think everyone needs to hear this, that you are enough. You are doing enough, and you do not have to earn rest. You are already a child of God. You are already got a key to the kingdom. It's in your body. It is not external. It's not out there. It's not up there. It's within. And excavate. Like if you can just start excavating everything that you are, I think it'll answer a lot of your questions and open up to that purpose, that you do have a gift. You are worthy and you have a unique magic, and it's a disservice to yourself and everyone else to not do that work, because we need it. We need more of you, not less of you.
That almost sounds like a channeled message. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I took a breath. I was like, okay, what's
Yeah.
there to say?
So, when are your books open next for people?
Yeah, I don't know yet always, but it does tend to be around February. I'm not sure why it lands that way.
Just check your
that way the last
website.
few years. Yeah, check the website. I tend to let everyone know about 3 months in advance. So once I'm kind of confident, like my tail end of things are happening, and I go, okay, let me let everyone know that books are going to open in 2 or 3 months here.
And
So
September 12th is your
September 12th, our 5 year
so
anniversary.
look out for
Yeah,
that.
we'll have a little something, a little get together, a little party of some kind for everyone to come to the shop. Bring your kids, bring your family. That's just a pure celebration. We don't typically try to work that day, tattoo. We don't, people are like, why don't you do a flash event? I'm like, because I work the other 364 days.
Yeah.
We try to just have a celebration, and that way our head is not down, gloves are on, we can actually hang out with you and celebrate together. So that's a huge, huge deal. So thank you for reminding me of that's out there. And then, yeah, be looking out for this program I'm hoping to create
Yes,
that,
me too.
creates a circle of women just like us, and seeing where that goes, because I feel like it leads to some really big stuff, like in-person things like retreats. I'm hoping to write books. I want to be on stages. I want to do this all the time. So I know it's like,
I'm ready. I'm ready for
I'm
it.
ready.
I see all kinds of things. I'm like courses, I don't know, just a channel, just
Yeah.
anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm open to wherever it leads,
Wherever
and
it takes.
I know I'm in the right place right now because I'm such an eager student. I'm like, why isn't it there already? I can feel it. It's so big in my body, but I know there's
Yeah.
divine timing for everything. And I'm gaining experience right now, gaining the stories, gaining the knowledge and the wisdom right now. So I am doing it.
Yes, absolutely. And I am so grateful that you set some time aside. I know things are really busy right now. And I see his little
I just this
hands.
little,
Yeah,
he's just
he's
like,
like, my turn, mom, my turn.
Mom.
So I appreciate you meeting with me and sharing about your art, your life. I'm
This
just,
is just the
oh,
cool. Oh, there he is.
there
Just
you
the
are.
coolest conversation, and
Oh,
it's giving me so much practice too. I'm learning how to, even just physical Zoom, even
yeah,
just speaking about what I do and articulating it, because it
yeah,
is so hard to articulate all the hats that you wear. Hi,
yeah,
Bubby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a little bald head. I cannot. He's so cute.
well, I'm going to stop the recording. Hold on,
All
it's
right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Miriam.
just there.